Hey friends, how's it going? Welcome back. It is our time to be together once again. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. It's a really nice day. Beautiful day. Got up this morning, had my coffee, as you know, is the routine. And it was very chilly this morning. It was, for Los Angeles County, it was chilly. It was, 50 degrees. And the last bit of the first part of the month and last part of March, it was rather warm. We always get weather in strides here. Anyway, I got up and I was like, ooh, it's a good day. Some day off. Make a nice breakfast. And I found something earlier this week. Actually, I had it in my watch list on eBay. And I decided to make a play for it. It's been in my watch list for a while. And I thought, I think I need it. But I'll get into that in a minute. We'll share things. But, things are going okay. Things are well. Just I'm trying to go through some stuff. And every time I bring something in, and I try to let it go. Try to let something go, for that matter. No, I haven't worked on the Blizzard in a month or so. That's right, I haven't worked on the Blizzard since early March. And, soon, a week after I got it anyway, I will be sourcing out a glow plate and whatnot for it. I might send it down to Madison, and he can kind of do the glow plate situation. And then I'm going to order a brass cone for it and a burner. It's missing a burner. A few little other odds and ends. Nothing too crazy, but that will get done. I'm going to address that lantern. I'm going to do the thing for it. And it will be resurrected, I'm sure. But anyways, so stay tuned for that. It's not a pressing restoration, but anyway, week's been good. Been just working and doing that stuff, yeah. But anyways, that's about it. Nothing much to report. Let me see. That's it. Well, okay. So I've been acting a little different lately in my collecting habits. In what way, you ask? Well, I've always been kind of focused on early lanterns, lanterns of like the 19th century, early 20th century, nothing much later than the 1910s or even the 20s, really. I have plenty of those, but you saw one of my last videos, my last video actually, about the Streamline Montgomery Ward's Airpiot lantern made by Embry. And I've been burning that a lot, actually. It burns very well. And it doesn't burn very dirty. It smells actually very clean, which is great, because sometimes a cold blast can smell kind of strong, especially if you're burning it in a closed environment. Last night I did burn it in the apartment, and it was actually not too bad. I did have some ventilation, but you could smell it, but only a little bit. It was not terrible. But anyhow, me and my streamlined opinions. Streamlined opinions. Streamlined opinions. Well, I guess I might as well come clean. I purchased another Streamline lantern. I know. Don't question it. Just know that that's what I did. And it's a lantern that I kind of been watching. Now, don't get any ideas. I'm not going to just jump off the old rustic wagon here. I'm staying true to my aesthetics and the things I really like. But I felt this was an important piece, and I could actually really use it to some capacity Hopefully not too often. I'll tell you why in a minute. So I was on eBay just going through my watch list, and there's many things in my watch list. And, in all fairness, I haven't really bought much off of eBay in the last couple years. Besides the Blizzard, that was an eBay purchase. And, my eBay habits have shifted a bit. eBay is very expensive now, especially since if you buy something out of state, you have to pay taxes on things now. Remember back in the day when you didn't pay sales tax because you were out of the state that it was being purchased? Yeah, well, now everything, taxes applied to every purchase, and then of course the shipping. And so a relatively affordable piece will become double the price because of shipping and tax. And that's something that I'm really grumpy about, because you could see something for $20 and end up spending $50 or $60 at the end of the time when all is said and done. And so it's no longer the yard sale experience that it once was in its infancy. A lot of you guys probably remember the old days of eBay and how great that was. And, unless it's very special or rare, I've been reaching out to certain collectors and seeing what they offer on the Tubular group ever so often. And if it's something that I have to have or really would like, and I can swing it, then, then I play for it. And most times I get it. And everything's great. Everything's great. And I save a little bit of money because we come to a good price, and sometimes shipping's included in the price, and it's great. It's perfect. Yeah. So there you go. However, this thing popped up. Well, like I said, it was in my watch list, and I saved it just because I thought it was neat, and I thought, well, someday maybe if the price comes down, maybe I'll make a play for it. Well, it was on eBay for over a couple years. I think I spotted this thing on eBay, I want to say in 23 maybe, or around there. I cruise eBay. I see stuff all the time. I just look at listings of lanterns, see what things are going for, who's buying what, and stuff like that. We've talked about eBay prices and how some are quite ambitious, to say the very least. But this thing, I was looking through my watch list. I'm like, oh yeah, that thing. And so I was looking at it, and I'm like, I wonder if they'll accept an offer. And I saw that they could. That they would accept an offer if you made one. They had make an offer option on there. But then I looked at where it was. It was in Temple City. It was very local to me. It's actually 20 minutes away from me or so. Pretty close, actually. So I'm like, well, dang, man, that's not far at all. So I thought, well, let me send a message to the seller. So I sent a message like, hey, I'm in Monrovia, and I'm interested in your lantern. And what's the best price you could accept on this? Well, so they got back to me in a day, and they shot me an offer of what they would accept. And it was pretty fair, I thought. And it was up there for a while, and so I was like, this would be fine. This is a good price. And then they also said they made a local pickup option. They changed it so that you pick it up instead of shipping it. So then I got, we did a little message exchange on eBay, and he said that he'd be in Arcadia at the post office to ship some stuff, and I was like, well, that's perfect. I'm literally 6 minutes away from that post office. So I think, oh, cool. So we made it the time to meet up there at the post office, and I drove over there today, and I picked it up. Met up with the guy, cool guy, picked up the lantern, and he, we talked about some fun old stuff, and I drove the Dodge over there, so that was fun. He enjoyed that. And so yeah, it's a good time, good stuff. And so I was looking this thing over, and it's actually, yeah, it's pretty great. So without further ado, I'm going to show you this thing as I just received it. Yeah. Here it is. Yes, sir. That is an Embry Airpilot, as we all know and understand. And it's in pretty good shape. And yes, there's a plastic bag around the globe just to, protect it. So let's remove that, shall we? All right. Now, it's a nice precaution, I think. There's no reason not to do that. Okay, I think it's locked. Really? Well. All right. Has a Dietz D-Lite ruby globe in it with a, let's see, registered US pad off. Okay, lock knob. Very nice globe. Brand new, I'd say. New old stock. No chips, no dings, no scratches, no cancer. Clean. So, that being said, I have an identical globe to this. I do have a D-Lite globe. Improper for this thing because it's it's an Embry, so it would have, well, for something like this, it would just have the letter E with the little rays of light, and some people call those the whisker E globe, so yeah. But anyways, we'll just keep it in this lantern for now. We'll find a proper globe for it, but for the time being, this is exactly how I purchased it. And you're probably wondering, well, what's the yellow paint for, Rob? Well, the cap comes off very nicely. Actually kind of clean in there. Very clean, in fact. Well, the yellow paint, from my understanding, what I'm educated guess, if you will, let me just tip this back and let's dive into this and see what we're dealing with. This is the first time I'm actually investigating this lantern. You're with me here on this journey. So let's see. Okay. Don't tell me. Well, it looks like it has a wick. It does have a wick. But it seems locked. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, it's frozen. Which surprises me because this thing is so remarkably clean. Now, it might not be too frozen. It might just be not finger loose. So we can probably see if we can coax it with some vice grips. Now, I know you're saying, vice grips, Rob, well, there's going to leave some teeth marks in the burner, and that's really not what you want to do, Well, sure. I get that. I know what you're saying. But what I'm saying is that maybe it just needs a little coaxing, and I do have a rag I'm going to place over the burner so it won't mar the finish on the bare metal. And we just take the globe out so you won't have to worry about that. So here we go. Let's see here. Did it. Well, let's see. These bayonet style locking burners, they're great until they seize up on you, and then they become very, very hard to remove. Slip. Let's not do that. Yeah, let's not do that. Yeah. We'll figure it out off camera and we'll give an update. But at any rate, it does have a wick. I don't know how long the wick is. I'm trying to think. Maybe it just needs a little pry here. I just need a really thin little screwdriver. That's probably what it needs. I don't do much Embry stuff. Nothing against Embry, but it does need to be pried loose before, really loosening or, you know. Let's see here. This thing is really on there, isn't it? I don't want to damage the patina or anything. Let's see here. But I mean, it's so clean, it's in such good shape. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, how old is it? You know, well, it's old. I'd say it's probably right around, well, this design, as we talked about in the past, came out in 1939. Now, you're probably asking yourself, sorry, I'm going to be out of frame for a second because I'm going to get another screwdriver out of my big Craftsman toolbox here. Got a big hunkin' flathead in here. I think I do. I should. No. It's actually in the car. Excuse me for a second. Be right back. Okay. Here we go. We're back. We're going to find the screwdriver here. Oh. You know what? Don't get old. Don't ever get old if you can help it. Don't do that, because you might not remember where you place stuff. No. I'm getting there. Yeah, I know. Let's see here. Alright. Well, I have a screwdriver, but not the one I'm looking for. No. Why not? Why not? Oh, jeez Louise. Let's see here. Okay, well, we have a flathead, and this will probably be good enough. Oh, good enough, you know. Let's see here. Let's put this down so we don't scratch this old yellow paint. Now, what I'm doing is giving a little pressure on the regulator stem, which is poking out this side. Okay, and that sometimes you can lift it and unlock it. In theory, that works. Let's see here. It does work in theory. Let's see if we can get that up and out of the way. Oh, well, that's funny. It's paint's kind of flaking off in some spots here. Well, okay. Ah, there it is. I did it. It worked. Okay. Now we can remove the burner. Look at that. That's plenty of wick. Holy cow, that's fantastic. That's really good. A little patience pays off. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Now, I could find my scissors. I'll trim this wick, but methinks the scissors are a lot closer than I thought. Right here. Like I said, don't get old. Just cut that little char off. There we go. Yeah. Let's hear some noises out in the alleyway. Anyways, wow. This thing is probably burned by the previous owner. Very clean inside. Very clean. Yeah. Yeah. So this thing here, probably wondering, what's the deal with the yellow? This whole time you're probably thinking, oh, talk about the yellow, Rob. What's the yellow about? Yeah, tell us about the yellow, Rob. What was that all about? Okay, well, the yellow, to my understanding, would indicate that it was used for utility. because the lantern itself is painted the original jade green color. Yeah. You know what? I want to get another globe for this. I don't want to burn that ruby globe. Excuse me. Yeah. Let's see here. Shoot. Let's see. All right. So, I think I have a plain D-Light style globe that's not marked, but I don't feel like digging it out. I know I have this D-Light globe at the ready. I will have to eventually find an Embry marked one. There we go. Okay, so let's add some fuel to this equation, shall we? I think it's a good idea. All right. All right. Well, we're just going to let that sit there and let it soak. Not too long, just needs a little bit of time, that's all. That's all. Put everything back to where it belongs so I can find it again. Yeah. Put this back in that little toolbox. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, the yellow paint being very common amongst utility or construction lanterns, for my money, would suggest LA County. Yes. Now, LA County had a number of different paint schemes through the years, and I have a few of them. Let's see, my high-low is from 1936-7, right around there. And it's painted a dark forest green color. And it's pretty old age green paint. And it's funny because when I drive into Griffith Park to work at my job there at the observatory, I see a lot of 50-gallon old oil drums that they use for trash cans. And they're all painted the exact same dark green color. The exact same color. And, you know, kind of oxidized and a little more spruce green, blue hue to them because they've been outside for so long. But, yeah, same color. So that's one indication that the color is original, not to overlook the obvious age to it. But then I also have the LA County Roads number 100 Dietz barricade lantern that I received from late Steve Hilliard. And that's more of a, what kind of green is that? Like a grass green. It's not forest green. It's definitely lighter and more yellow to it. Not a lot of blue to that green. It's very, you know, very green. But this green is definitely a very original green from the late 30s. Because as I explained in my last video, the post-war color of green was that metallic. It was a metallic sage green, which was that light, you know, cool green color with a metal flake in it. So that was definitely common after World War II. This colors would suggest pre-World War II. And it's that amphibian green, as I mentioned in my last video. And it's that real late 30s, early 40s type of, you know, jade bathroom green, if you will. But anyways, and then the yellow fount is hand applied. It's all brushed on there, and it's got some, you know, spots where the yellow paint is flaked off, and there's still green paint underneath, which they just brushed out on there just to signify that it belongs to the County of Los Angeles or another utility or a contractor. There is no markings on this that it was used by any city department. It says Embury Manufacturing Company, Warsaw, New York, USA. As they all do. It says Embury number 2 Airpliot right on the fountain there. See? Just like that. Okay. So there's no utility markings. Now, some people are like, well, you know, why wouldn't it say, you know, the utility or affiliation that it was used for? Well, that's an answer for you. So whether a utility out here in SoCal and LA County ordered, say, from Dietz or Embury, which were their 2 main suppliers, okay, especially by the 30s and 40s, they ordered from Dietz or Embury. And it cost extra for them to have any stamping of the utility on the lantern, either the fount or the smoke bell or the chimney, you know, would be on the edge here, especially on Dietz by the cold blast era here. It would be up here or on the back of the fount. And it would say City of LA or LA County or whatever. But LA County didn't really have too many things stamped because of the extra money, the extra cost it would take for every so many dozens of lanterns. So I believe the minimum order was about 100, at least for Dietz it was. So you had to order 100 lanterns to be eligible to have them create a die with your utility and city name. So it wasn't the most economical thing to do. So with a big city like Los Angeles or Long Beach or Pasadena or whatever, then they would pay the extra money to have their city and utility embossed on it. So if anybody stole it, they'd say, I know where that's from. It says right there. So it actually is marked. So, you know, and that wasn't uncommon back in the Depression. You know, some people used kerosene lighting a lot. And you could walk out to a work site late at night and just grab one. They were just sitting there. You know, the honor system, right? Who would take that? It's marked for the city. Well, people did. Kids stole them. It was something that people did, you know. And they were like, well, the city's got deep pockets. They got hundreds of them, so we're not going to miss this little one here. And then they kept it in their garage and never used it, because if they did, then somebody would say, oh, that's city property, and they'd probably be reprimanded by doing so. Or their family would shame them, or whatever the case may be. There's so many different scenarios you could apply to the situation, but that's why we have them, because after the age of kerosene, they were all more or less scrapped and thrown away. They were considered just, you know, disposable to a degree. They weren't important anymore, so they just junked them. So the reason why we have some examples, actually nice examples that do turn up, is because people stole them. So in a way, they did the right thing so we could enjoy them now. Yeah, I know. Isn't that funny how that works? Well, this yellow paint was probably applied by the department, by LA County. It's very possible now, since it's not marked for the city or the county. You could say, well, it's not marked. How would you know for sure? We don't know for sure. However, it is known that, you know, these things would be damaged and there would be loss. They would have to replace them ever so often because, well, for the reasons I just explained, people steal them. So they would probably say, well, we don't have time to order another batch with our names on it or whatever, or have them all marked and fancy and everything. But they come in the same color, essentially, and we could just paint them to look like the ones that are out there right now. So they would all blend in and everyone would know that they're our property. So this green, this nice jade green color, is not too dissimilar to the green that... Sorry about that. My camera apparently just stopped recording as I was making the film. I don't know what happened there. Odd. I know, because I was actually in my apartment uploading and starting to process this video, and well, it just where's the end? So yeah, sorry about that. That was not expected, not my intent, of course, but let's finish this, shall we? And as I was explaining before I was so rudely interrupted by my camera just stopping recording, which is so weird. Anyhow, The what I was saying, before, was that they would just paint some replacements to match the rest of the inventory, right? And they wouldn't go to the lengths of making it, we're ordering a batch of 100 to have them marked, right? And sometimes they would just put a sticker for the county or whatever, and those sometimes fall off or whatever, or they would just paint them to match the rest of them so they all kind of just look the same. And it was understood that they were with the county or whatnot, or maybe a contractor painted this lantern just for this purpose, and they didn't, go to the bother of having them stamped or lettered or anything, and they just painted them like this so they would stand out. But it's very possible, since this green is not too unsimilar to the green that they used for the county at this time, and they just painted the yellow bottom, and it was obvious. But at any rate, as you can see, I put a ruby globe in here since the last time, because it was when I filmed this video, I put the white globe in there, clear globe in there, but I remembered I had a ruby globe that I've actually burned before that's safe to burn, that doesn't cancer, so anyway, let's light this, shall we? I was going to light it, but let's light it and get this party started here so we can wrap up this video. Oh, not high enough there. Boom, boom, boom. There. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Well, that sure drops with authority, doesn't it? I'm almost out of matches. Try this again here. Oh, okay. Oh, easy there. Okay. All right. Ha ha ha. Success. Now, isn't that pretty? Yeah. It is. I like it. It's a nice piece. And I think I'm going to really enjoy this thing. Now, I had thoughts of putting it in my trunk of the Dodge, since it's essentially the same era as the Dodge. 3940, right around there. That's when this thing was made and used, probably through the 50s as well. But anyways, it's definitely closer to mid-century than not. And it's a great piece. I like it. I like the charm. I like the grunge on a little bit. But it's fairly clean considering its history. Probably wasn't used a whole lot. Probably wasn't part of the inventory that went out often. It was a replacement, and probably spent some time out on a work site to fill in the blanks that they needed it for. And then when they were gathered up again, then it just went back into the inventory, and then they were bringing ones out that were clearly identified and marked as those were replaced possibly. I'm only estimating. I'm only guessing here. But at any rate, it is a nice piece, and it was probably retired soon. Or let's be fair here. I'm overlooking a fact that I already mentioned. It might have been stolen. It might have been stolen, and it probably was stolen and then was saved in a garage, and then somebody started trading it with friends or whatever after the kerosene era. So in the 60s, 70s, whatever. So it was probably picked up and spared the ultimate end of life, as most of these things met a fate of scrapping. Now, from the words of the late Steve Hillier, barricade lantern extraordinaire collector, very knowledgeable guy, but he says that what happened in a lot of cases was the departments, at the end of the kerosene era, they would sell them off. They'd have auctions, and people would just buy whatever the stock was that wasn't being used, right? So they would have these city auctions, and and whatever was left, they would just scrap. They just sent it to recycling or whatever. It was just trashed. So a percentage of these that were used by the county or the city were were definitely scrapped or trashed, but also a percentage were auctioned off. So yeah, and that's why there's enough of them that survive, I suppose. But it's a balance of theft and also auction off merchandise or stock. Now, it's funny because my friend Steve actually once mentioned that he that he would go to certain city departments and county departments and ask them if they had any of these left or laying around somewhere in storage. Because the city is known to store things. They are. They're not always very efficient that way. Instead of trying to figure out what to do with the thing, they just put it away until they can figure out what to do with it or get permission to do with whatever it is. It's always a chain of command and signing it off and paperwork just to make something very simple happen. I know, I work for the city. So it's not as easy as just like, okay, just get rid of it. No, there has to be decisions made all the way down the line, and it's red tape and all that trash. So, and Steve worked for the city in mosquito abatement, and he told me some stories about that. And so yeah, he was in the system as well as I am. So yeah, we had that in common for sure. But since he was in that realm, he kind of reached out to certain departments and some of the storage yards and everything, the work yards that they have where they keep all the equipment and everything. I know where those are. He's like, hey, do you guys have any of these things laying around? And they're like, no, we got rid of that stuff years ago. And he's like, oh, okay. And so there you go. And it's interesting enough, I've mentioned this before, my friend John Chittum, he actually admitted to stealing these things off of barricades in the 50s. Yeah, he did. But he would, when it would run out of fuel, he'd just take it back and swap it for one that had kerosene in it left. So yeah, that is an actual account of somebody that did that in the period. It's pretty cool, that's an actual account. So people are like, oh, they didn't do that. That's blah 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 blah. No, I know a guy. He actually said, yeah, that's what I did, and he's like, other kids did it too. So whatever. Yeah, you have a tree house. You got some works situation over across the street, and you have couple lanterns hanging there. Well, I would love to have a lantern for my treehouse, and just pick it up and sneak it up there, and there you go. And then when oil runs out, you just take it back and hang it there, and then take the other one that has oil left. It's just kids. Yeah. But anyways, this piece is fun. I like it. I really like the ruby globe in it, and I know it's a Dietz Mark globe. It's not a big deal. But I have a source for a unmarked ruby globe that I will be receiving shortly. And that's great. It's really cool. And I will probably be burning that often. I like the ruby globe. Look, it definitely is like, a warning light. I have a clear Dietz Mark D light globe if I want to use it for clear, for camping or whatever. I will most likely score a unmarked squat globe for this thing too. So I can do either or, but it will live in the trunk of the car. So that way, wherever I go, I'll have this to go with me. And it looks really good with the Dodge. It does. It looks really nice next to the Dodge because the Dodge is very streamlined, modern. Same with this. Yeah. So, sometimes I'll just take the car over to Rec Park over there, east side of Monrovia. Just park there and have a nice cigar and burn a lantern in the early evening, late afternoon, at sundown. It's very relaxing. It's really cool. And this thing definitely does complement the car quite well. So, anyways, that's it. Sorry for the interrupted video, guys. I don't know what's going on with my camera. I just decided just to, cut me off. So, it does that sometimes. Yeah. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this installment this week. I hope that you enjoyed the interesting history behind, or possible history behind, this particular Airpliot. And I'm a fan of this. Yes, I do not buy too many 40s streamline or 50s streamline lanterns. I have what I need, and but yeah, this one is too cool to pass up. Everything is just kind of speaking its language to me, and I'm like, that looks really cool. And it looks cool in the garage, or it will look great in the trunk of the car, and I'll be able to have it for car shows or just chilling out with friends in the park. So, yeah. But anyways, there it is, friends. another share this week. And thanks again for stopping by, tuning in, and being a part of this experiment of YouTube and this lantern content thing I've been doing. And I'm grateful for those guys who reach out to me and comment and participate in this fun share of antique lighting. And it's funny because I did mention to the guy that I purchased this from about my channel and that it will be on the channel, and he actually sent me a message on through eBay and says, yeah, I checked out your channel, it's really cool, pretty well done stuff. And so I says, yeah, I'm going to be doing a video here soon this week of the lantern I just bought for you. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. So he'll probably watch this. So thanks again for the lantern. It's in good hands and I'm enjoying it thoroughly. Yes, sir. Absolutely. And you probably learned too much about it that you didn't really need to know, but that's part of the hobby and part of history and collecting, I guess, is all the minutia, right? All the little fine workings of why people like these things. There you go. Well, guys, take it easy. Have a great rest of your week. And we'll be seeing you next week with, I don't know, maybe something else. Yeah, there might be something in the works coming here soon. I am negotiating a deal for another lantern that's really quite unique and interesting from my perspective anyways. So yeah, we'll have something else to share hopefully next week. We'll see you guys next time. I think, yeah, absolutely. Next Thursday, it's a date for sure. Okay, have a good one. Bye-bye now. Sit, boo-boo, sit. Good dog.